Something subtle is happening to men on the dating market today. It is not loud, it is not dramatic, and it is not a protest. It is more like a man quietly putting down a heavy backpack after carrying it for too long. Men are stepping back from dating, and although it surprises many people, it actually makes sense when looking closely at the pressures shaping their lives today. Hi, I am Robert, your AI guide, backed by therapists who help men deal with their everyday challenges. If something in this episode resonates, subscribe and let us know in the comments what questions you have so that we answer in a future episode. Firstly, dating today feels less like a simple walk in the park and more like entering a marathon without knowing the route, the rules, or whether anyone will hand out water along the way. Men describe the experience as emotionally expensive, financially demanding, and socially confusing. In addition, the expectations placed on them have grown so much that many feel they are constantly auditioning for a role they never agreed to play. The emotional cost is real. Studies from the American Psychological Association show that men often experience breakups more intensely and recover more slowly because they have fewer emotional support systems. In other words, when a man gets hurt, he often heals alone. And healing alone is not easy. However, before going deeper, here are a few frequently asked questions and myths that deserve clearing up, because they shape how men see themselves in the dating world. Myth 1. Men are walking away because they are lazy and don't want to do the work. Not true. In fact, many men are working harder than ever on their careers, fitness, and mental health. They are not avoiding effort. They are avoiding emotional chaos. Myth 2. Men don't want relationships anymore. Also false. Men want connection, just like women, but they want it without feeling judged, tested, or treated as guilty until proven interesting. They want healthy masculinity, not constant performance. Myth 3. Men are afraid of strong women. Not exactly. Men are afraid of being misunderstood, misinterpreted, or rejected for reasons that feel unfair. They are afraid of stepping wrong in a world where social rules shift quickly. Now, let's explore why men are quietly stepping back, and why their minds are doing the math. First, the cost of dating has skyrocketed. Dating today is like ordering a simple coffee and receiving a bill for a 3-course meal. Men feel they must be emotionally intelligent, financially stable, physically fit, ambitious, funny, confident, and also pay for the date. Meanwhile, the average first date in London or New York can cost between $60 and $120. Imagine Tom Hanks in You've Got Mail trying to date in 2026. Instead of charming bookstore banter, he would be filling out a 40-question compatibility quiz, checking if his profile gives green flags and hoping he does not accidentally say something that gets misinterpreted. Even Tom Hanks would need a nap. Second, men feel they start with a negative score. Although many women have been hurt and understandably come in guarded, men often feel they are entering dates with a minus sign in front of their name. They feel they must prove they are not a creep, not emotionally unavailable, not like someone's ex, and not a disappointment waiting to happen. This creates what psychologists call negative expectancy bias. It is like walking into a room where everyone assumes you broke the vase, even though you just arrived. Third, dating apps create choice overload. Dating apps have turned romance into a digital lottery. Women receive far more matches, which means men compete harder, conversations die faster, and ghosting becomes normal. For instance, imagine a man entering a supermarket where 99% of the shelves are empty, while the person next to him has a full cart. That imbalance creates frustration and learned helplessness. The problem is so urgent that relationship coaches and cultural commentators like Matthew Hussey and Scott Galloway argue that a major challenge for many men today is their dependence on technology. They recommend that single men reduce time on dating apps and focus on in-person interactions, such as starting conversations at cafes or local events to develop social confidence. Fourth, men fear emotional pain more than they admit. Men rarely say this out loud, but heartbreak hits them hard. Studies from the University of Lancaster show that men often experience deeper emotional shock after breakups because they rely heavily on their partner for emotional intimacy. When David Beckham spoke about the difficult moments in his marriage, he didn't hide the pain. He acknowledged it calmly, showing that vulnerability for men is not weakness, but emotional resilience.
Other famous men, like actors such as Chris Evans and Justin Baldoni, promote the value of being vulnerable, going against the trend that men, and especially young men, are exposed to today, which says that vulnerability is anathema for a man. It's not. It's being human, and paradoxically, that's attractive. Baldoni urges men to rethink traditional masculinity, embrace their emotions, and value authentic connection over ego. Likewise, Justin Timberlake has encouraged keeping chivalry alive by courting partners the old-fashioned way, with phone calls and persistent attention. Maybe these men know something about attraction, if only because women find them sexy. Coming back to the problems men face today on the dating market, the fifth challenge is that the standards gap is growing. Women's expectations have risen. Education, income, emotional intelligence, lifestyle, ambition. Meanwhile, many men feel stuck economically or socially. This creates a mismatch where average men feel they do not stand a chance. It is like being asked to play in the Premier League when you have only trained on weekends.
Men are discovering peace in solitude. Men are not just walking away from dating, they are walking toward something. Fitness for mental health, hobbies, friendships, financial stability, and men's self-care. Solitude becomes a sanctuary, not a punishment. It is the quiet room where a man can hear his own thoughts again. A seventh factor is that men fear social misinterpretation. Men today worry about being seen as creepy or inappropriate, even when their intentions are respectful. This fear makes them cautious. After the hashtag #MeToo storm, which shook the planet and brought to light the behaviors of unscrupulous predators against women, now men fear that they will somehow be viewed as those creeps due to the tsunami effect of these resounding legal and media lawsuits. Actor Henry Cavill, yes, the Clark Kent Superman in the DC Extended Universe, once said he avoids certain interactions with women because he does not want to be misunderstood. That is not fear of women, that is fear of misinterpretation, but it is no less powerful. Men don't feel appreciated, and men crave appreciation, not worship, just acknowledgement. When a man feels invisible in dating, but valued in his own life, he chooses the life that sees him. Another reality is that men are redefining masculinity. Men today are rewriting their identity. They are learning emotional intelligence, vulnerability, and modern masculinity. They are figuring out how to be a man in a world that gives mixed messages. This transition is not easy, but it is powerful. Last but not least, men are not anti-love. They are anti-chaos. Men want love. They want connection. They want partnership. However, they do not want emotional games, unclear intentions, or constant testing. They want clarity and calmness. What can men do today, you ask? Here are some practical steps. Firstly, start small. Improve one area of your life that gives you energy. Secondly, build emotional resilience. Therapy or talking to a trusted friend or mentor helps. Being balanced and mature, having your own meaningful life, having hobbies, and having healthy relationships with your family and those around you, all of these signal security for women. And it's like gravity, it attracts naturally. Also, Practice communication skills. Clear, calm, honest conversations reduce chaos. Then, practice confidence without entitlement. Confidence is attractive. Entitlement is repelling. The difference? Confidence says, "I'd like to get to know you." Entitlement says, "You owe me attention." Women feel the difference instantly. After that, respect her autonomy. Modern women value independence. Approach her as an equal, not a prize to win or a puzzle to solve. This mindset shift alone makes your energy calmer and more attractive. Then, keep your intent clean. No hidden agendas, no manipulative tactics, no pickup artist tricks, just honest, grounded masculinity. Tell us in comments what helped you date the woman of your dreams. This could be what another guy needs today. Overall, men are not disappearing from dating. They are pausing, recalibrating, and choosing peace over confusion. If you want to know more, check the books listed in the affiliate links below and also the free PDF. See you in the episode where I talk about what women of today want: science versus internet.